What if I told you that Africa is finally building an infrastructure project so massive, so symbolic, and so revolutionary that it is shaking the very foundations of global power politics? A project that the West said Africa could never build without their approval. A project China assumed Africa would eventually borrow money for. A project foreign analysts predicted would require Western oversight. But here is the shock. Ethiopia and Kenya are building one of Africa's largest hydroelectric megadams, together, without $1 of Western money. No IMF conditions, no World Bank restrictions, no Chinese loans, no European oversight, no American pressure. Instead, there is one trusted partner standing beside them: India, not as a boss, not as a lender, but as a respectful ally from the global south. This is not just a dam. This is Africa breaking free. Welcome to Ezicho Africa, where we reveal the untold stories shaping Africa's new era. Today's story is a turning point. For decades, East Africa has been a region of unrealized potential. Ethiopia and Kenya, two of Africa's fastest-growing economies, have battled one crippling challenge: energy shortages. Factories slow down. Businesses pay high power bills. Rural areas remain dark. Industrial dreams stay on hold. Yet, both nations possess some of Africa's strongest rivers, ideal geography for hydropower, fast-growing cities, ambitious governments, a common desire for energy independence. But every time they attempted megaprojects, the West said, "We will fund you, but only on our terms." Terms like political reforms, privatization, currency changes, foreign consultants, environmental conditions designed to stall progress. And when Western lenders rejected projects, China stepped in with loans that looked attractive but brought long-term risks. Ethiopia learned this during the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Western pressure, threats, and diplomatic battles taught Ethiopia that reliance on foreigners for energy projects creates vulnerability. Kenya learned the same with past infrastructure loans. Debt concerns pushed the government to rethink foreign dependency. So this time, when the Ethiopia-Kenya joint dam proposal emerged, both nations said a powerful phrase: "Never again will outsiders control our future." This project is historic because it is cross-border, a collaboration rarely seen in Africa due to colonial borders designed to divide, not unite. Several water systems flow naturally between the countries, making a joint dam the smartest choice. Ethiopia already exports electricity to Kenya, but both economies are growing fast, requiring far more generation capacity. The project reinforces the East African power pool, which will link Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan. Both governments want an Africa-built, Africa-owned, Africa-financed project that becomes a symbol of sovereignty. This project is more than engineering. It's political liberation. This mega dam will be one of Africa's most powerful hydroelectric systems, generating GW-level electricity that could power industries, stabilize grids, support electric transport, lower household electricity costs, support new technology hubs, strengthen agriculture through irrigation. But beyond the kilowatts, the dam sends a devastating message to those who doubted Africa's capacity. Africa doesn't need permission to grow. It challenges decades of Western dominance where international institutions dictated what was appropriate for African development. And more importantly, it becomes a blueprint for other African nations. If Ethiopia and Kenya can build a mega dam together, why can't Nigeria and Niger, Zambia and Zimbabwe, Senegal and Gambia, Tanzania and Uganda? Africa's borders can unite, not divide. India's involvement is the most surprising and powerful part of the story. Unlike Western nations, India does not demand military alignment, political loyalty, IMF-style conditions, control over infrastructure, resource concessions. India comes with a different attitude. We rise together. So what exactly is India providing? India has built massive hydroelectric projects across its own mountains and rivers. This experience is invaluable. Indian turbines, generators, and digital systems cost far less than Western equipment. India trains Ethiopian and Kenyan engineers, so Africa owns the entire system. India isn't financing the project through crippling loans. India has never colonized Africa and understands the struggle for freedom. This alliance is built on mutual respect, not exploitation. This is the part that shocks the world the most. Here's how. Both nations commit multi-year funding from national budgets. Ethiopia did this during GERD, and it was immensely successful. Citizens invest directly in the dam. Local construction giants are participating. Banks from Ethiopia, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Tanzania are stepping in proudly. India reduces expenses by supplying affordable tech and engineering teams. Millions of Ethiopians and Kenyans abroad are ready to support a project that symbolizes freedom. This model, a fully African-funded megaproject, is revolutionary and threatens the old global order. No more power shortages. No more blackouts. No more dependence on external donors. Affordable electricity will unlock manufacturing, mining, steel processing, data centers, agricultural processing industries. The East African power pool will create reliable, inexpensive electricity across multiple countries. The dam's irrigation capabilities will support farmers across both nations. Thousands of Africans will work as engineers, electricians, builders, analysts, and technicians. A powerful Africa is harder to manipulate. Let's be honest, Western countries are watching this project with concern. For decades, Africa relied on Western institutions for large infrastructure. Now, not anymore. If African nations realize they can fund their own megaprojects, Western leverage disappears. India's role proves that development doesn't need Western approval. Cheap electricity means industrialization, which means less need for European imports. This project symbolizes a shift in global power, a loss of Western dominance over African infrastructure. China is not Africa's enemy, but it is absolutely watching this closely. India is rising as a major partner in Africa. Africa is learning to say no to debt dependency. India's model is cheaper and comes without political strings. China does not want India gaining influence in East Africa. This dam marks the beginning of a new competition. Across Kenya and Ethiopia, citizens are calling this project a new independence. Proof Africa can build alone. A victory for the next generation. Young Africans see a future where Africa builds its own roads, dams, and railways. Africa funds its own projects. Africa controls its own resources. Africa chooses its own partners. This dam is more than concrete. It is confidence. India is playing a strategic, but friendly, game. Its goals include deepening trade, expanding diplomatic ties, competing with China, creating a strong global South alliance, supporting African development to build long-term trust. But unlike other powers, India does not demand military bases, exploitation contracts, political alignment. India wants Africa strong, stable, and prosperous. A strong Africa strengthens the entire global South family. This dam is not old-school concrete. It is next-generation engineering, including AI-powered water flow monitoring, automated grid balancing, seismic-resistant infrastructure, smart turbines, wildlife protection systems, satellite-based maintenance checks, remote digital controls integrated with East African power pool. It will be one of Africa's most advanced hydroelectric systems ever built. This project is especially important for young Africans because it shows what Africa can do without outsiders controlling the narrative. Youth will benefit through scholarships, training partnerships with India, engineering careers, digital tech careers, hydropower specialization, entrepreneurship opportunities created by cheap electricity. This dam is not just for the present generation. It is a gift to the next 100 years. This Ethiopia-Kenya megadam is far more than a power project. It is a symbol, a message, a declaration that Africa will no longer be told what it can or cannot do. A declaration that African nations can collaborate beyond borders. A declaration that the era of dependency is ending, with India as a respectful partner, not a colonizer, not a lender with strings, not a manipulator. Africa is showing the world the power of true cooperation. This dam is Africa saying, we will build our own future. And here at Ezicho Africa, we will keep bringing you the truth about Africa's rise, one story at a time.